I'd just like to give a shout out to my mother-in-law. Happy birthday. Love you. And this is not a complete, exhaustive history of the Trail of Tears. If you want one, let me know in the comments. I'm Colin, and this is the Time Machine Diaries. Listen, if you clicked on this episode thinking we're going to tell a neat historical story, I'm sorry. Today's episode is a wound that never healed. We're talking about the Trail of Tears. A forced exodus that shattered nations, destroyed families, and left bodies and bones all along the trail. But here's what's fucked. It ain't just a story from the past. The same logic, the same hunger for land, profit, and purity is still showing its ugly face today. In immigration debates, in border walls, in concentration camps. So let's go. So why did this happen? Because white folks wanted land and cotton and gold. Full stop. 1828. Gold is discovered in Georgia. Boom. White settlers move in like a plague of locusts. The Cherokee Nation is smack in the way. These tribes, Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, Seminole, were labeled the 5 civilized tribes, meaning they had adapted to European ways, written language, farming, Christianity, printing presses. Some even owned slaves, just like their white counterparts. But guess what? That assimilation didn't buy them safety, because racism doesn't give a shit about how civilized you are.
I set type for the Cherokee Phoenix, our newspaper. We print in English and Cherokee. I thought if we spoke their language, followed their laws, they would leave us in peace. I was wrong. My hands are stained with ink. Soon they would be stained with blood.
President Andrew Jackson. Let's talk about that son of a bitch. He was a war hero, sure. But also, he was a man who made his fortune stealing from the natives. His solution to the Indian problem? Get rid of them. In 1830, Congress passed the Indian Removal Act. It gave Jackson the power to engage in treaties that would force the tribes west. But it was more like extortion.
They brought me paper to sign. They said it was peace, but it was chains disguised as words. They say we cede our lands, but the land was never theirs to claim. My father's bones are in this earth. My mother's laughter echoes in these valleys. How can we leave our dead behind?
Here's where it gets really fucking twisted. In 1832, the Supreme Court ruled in Worcester v. Georgia that Georgia's laws had no power over Cherokee territory. The court recognized tribal sovereignty, but Jackson basically told the Supreme Court to fuck itself. Legend has it he said,
"That fat cat John Marshall made his decision. Now let's see if he has the balls to enforce it."
That's the President of the United States, ignoring the law. Oh, you thought that was something new.
I'm a law clerk for the governor of Georgia. You think we are gonna let a bunch of yellowbillies in the Supreme Court tell us we can't take that land? We want gold. We want cotton. We want the Indians gone. It's just the natural order, ain't it?
So the army started rounding people up. Picture this. Soldiers march into Cherokee towns with bayonets, dragging families out of houses, mothers carrying babies, elders who can't walk, homes left behind, crops rotting in the field, churches torched.
They came at dawn, kicked in the door. My baby was still nursing. My husband tried to speak to them. They hit him with a rifle. I have nothing but what I can carry.
Before the march even started, thousands were held in stockades. No clean water, no bathrooms, measles, dysentery, typhus. People were dying. Imagine being penned up like livestock, watching your family waste away. Then the forced marches began. Between 1838 and 1839, the Cherokee walked over 1,000 miles, over mountains, through icy rivers, mud so deep it was up to your hips, insufficient clothing, a lot of them barefoot. Historians estimate between 4,000 and 8,000 Cherokee died. That's like an entire town being erased. People died from cold, starvation, disease, despair. Parents buried children. Children buried parents. Or sometimes they couldn't bury them at all because the fucking ground was frozen solid.
This country is full of racists. Last week it was the Italians. Now it's the Native Americans. What's next?
Meanwhile, white settlers are popping champagne. Georgia held lotteries to distribute stolen Cherokee lands. Fucking pulling names out of hats. White newspapers called it progress. Fucking manifest destiny.
Would you look at that? Our city is booming. New cotton fields, new roads, wealth for our people. The Indians will find a new home. It's for the best. God wanted us to have this land. That's how I see it.
Not everyone went quietly. The Seminole in Florida fought back hard, led by Osceola. They used guerrilla tactics, striking from the swamps. The U.S. government eventually captured Osceola under a flag of truce. Some real shady shit. The Seminole Wars became the costliest Indian wars in U.S. history. At this point in time. Finally, the survivors arrived in what is today Oklahoma. The government said, "This land will be yours forever." But surprise, surprise, that promise lasted less than fucking 50 years. The Dawes Act of 1887 broke up tribal lands into allotments. Any surplus was sold to white settlers. By the 1930s, the tribes had lost millions of acres again.
I am tired of packing up my house. My bones are tired. They say forever, but their forever is shorter than a crow's flight. My grandchildren speak less Cherokee each year. I fear one day our words will vanish like smoke.
The Trail of Tears, it wasn't a journey. It was a theft of futures, a cultural earthquake, and it still ripples through. High poverty rates on reservations, missing and murdered indigenous women, pipeline protests on sacred lands, systemic racism in healthcare, education, and justice. It's the same story. Powerful people deciding who belongs and who doesn't. Whose suffering is acceptable for profit.
My grandma's grandma walked the Trail of Tears. That's not ancient history. That's my mother's lullabies. That's the language in my prayers. Every time you say get over it, you're spitting on the graves along that trail. We're still here, still fighting, and we're not going anywhere.
And check it out. This hits extra hard today. Because when you hear politicians talking about immigrants being an invasion, when kids are locked up in detention camps, when families are separated at the border, when people are forced back into danger because they don't belong here. It's the same old story in a new fucking costume. One group deciding another group is disposable, that they're not from here, that they're obstacles to profit or comfort. Does that fucking sound familiar? The Trail of Tears is American history, but it's kind of also America now. It's a reminder that whenever we decide some people don't belong or are in the way or less deserving, we're walking the same trail. One more thing before I go. America used to call itself a nation of immigrants. But the truth is, it's also a nation of fascists. Don't ever forget. Stay awake. Stay informed. And remember, if you don't believe in vaccinations, don't get them. Survival of the fittest. More room for me. Take care.
I might do the right thing. Spike Lee on something. I just might sip on something. Disappear for a month. I might dip on something. Springing into action like a bungee cord. Standing on the corner getting no applause. Squinting through my eyes, I don't know them boys. What you hoping for? Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Ramen noodles for a meal, how I feel, dawg. Why you placing judgment? I'm just trying to live, dawg. Put it on my head, cause it's not what it appeared, dawg. Low key, cutting through the bushes so they never scope me. In the field where the lane is stuck. You got chain, you got cane, what's your name? What's up? Where the real dope dealers looking lame as fuck, but the real dope women looking plain as fuck. Well, I'm just trying to change it up. I'm myself, why you trying to be the same? For what? If you got a copy, niggas play the game for what? If you ain't trying to hit the bullseye, you aim for what? Come on, man. Light the match to match the vibe. As I roll the 85, like I'm on the getaway, cause I gotta get away. Like the match to match the vibe. As I roll the 85, like I'm on the getaway, cause I gotta get away. Like the match to match the vibe. As I roll the 85, like I'm on the getaway, cause I gotta get away. Like the match to match the vibe. As I roll the 85, like I'm on the getaway, cause I gotta get away. Might be on something, might tease something, might swing on something.